Howdy y'all, my name is Josh. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Just as a brief introduction to who I am, I'm just a dude who simply likes to talk about clothes. Anywhere from the low end of things to the high end of things, and anywhere in between. I just simply like rambling on about something that I love. Today's video is going to be one that's a pretty hot topic at the moment. I've seen a lot of articles about this, like rolling through all the streetwear communities, and this is one that I'd like to think that I have a pretty strong opinion about this particular topic. And if you're unaware of what this is, it is the Chrome Hearts filing a lawsuit against Minimal LA. To very just like quickly get you up to speed to what's going on right now, Minimal LA is I guess for all intents and purposes, a fast fashion brand that was created fairly recently. You may know it through Paul Fuentebella's, I think that's his name, Paul Fuentebella's YouTube channel, Locust and Wild Honey. He does a lot of, I think he's like a huge brand ambassador for them, which I don't find an issue at all. I don't really care. But Minimal LA put out a pair of jeans that mimic the Chrome Hearts vintage Levi's jeans. Now what that is Chrome Hearts took a pair of vintage Levi's, they took out the hardware and put in like Chrome Hearts silver hardware, which, I mean, Chrome Hearts silver jewelry is already incredibly expensive, and not only that, but they also put on the Chrome Hearts signature like cross patches all over the pairs of jeans, and Minimal created that exact same thing. I say exact because down to the placement it is pretty spot on. I'm not saying the quality is spot on, but I'm saying that the placement of the crosses is spot on, and it's very obviously a blatant ripoff of something that is a luxury item. Now, the Minimal LA ones were retailing at like somewhere like $65. On their website, they are sold out. I don't know if that's because they actually sold out, or they had to pull out the like posting. But the regular Chrome Hearts vintage Levi's with the embroidered crosses is incredibly expensive. Like, first off, they're pretty hard to find in specific sizes, and then second off, they're like $4,000 and up now. I'm pretty sure this lawsuit has definitely skyrocketed those prices and just made them that much more desirable to collectors. But keep in mind, I'm no expert in this, I'm no lawyer, I have no affiliation with either side of either brand. But this is just my point of view, and I'm just putting out this information so that you can construct your own point of view. And what I wanted to talk about is basically fake clothing. Is fake clothing okay? Is it something that you should spend your money on? And I personally don't think so. This is just one of the most obvious and boldest things that Minimal LA could have done. As a consumer from the outside looking in, and I mean minus all the industry experience that I lack, when I see something that's this bold, when I see something that's literally the exact same product put out by two different brands, all I can think of is, I mean, when you're in school, just flat out plagiarism. Please excuse the extra noise. There's some landscapers outside mowing some lawns, but I won't bother them. But again, it's plagiarism. It's something that they basically replicated and took, are making money off of an idea that isn't theirs, which in itself is already very problematic. I think it's just logical that if you make something inspired by something else, that you put your own twist on it, you change it in some way. Now, I highly doubt that Minimal put like the silver hardware on the jeans itself. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they just put the leather embroidered crosses, but those crosses are trademarked by Chrome Hearts. It is definitely something that is absolutely iconic to their brand, and Minimal is trying to profit off of the success of another brand, which in itself is already something that is pretty dishonest. I mean, it really comes down to principle. It really comes down to ethics as far as these two companies go. And I mean, this is a really, really weird topic, but I don't find there's anything wrong with taking inspiration from somebody else. If there's an idea that you really like and you want to basically reinterpret it into what you see or what you think would make it better, that's totally okay, because you have taken an idea and built upon that idea, not just taken the idea and re-put out the idea. And I mean, arguably you can say that there is no such thing as a completely original idea. Everything is inspired by something, which is absolutely true. It's like they're not even being subtle with it. It's not even like they're making this hard. It's so obvious that they were making this, and I'm honestly surprised that Minimal hasn't had a lawsuit filed against them, I mean, anywhere and from any other brand. Jerry Lorenzo, designer of Fear of God, has made it very, very obvious that he is not a fan of people making cheap knockoffs, essentially, of his own work, which I totally understand. Which Minimal definitely has made some things that are pretty spot on onto Jerry Lorenzo's Fear of God, as well as Rude, as well as Rick Owens. They were pretty bold with the Rick Owens one, I gotta say. They made their own version of the Rick Owens Creech cargo, and to the point where Minimal had pictures on their website of their version of the Creech cargo. They called it the drop crotch cargo for, I think, again, it was $65 if I'm not mistaken. Some colors sold out, and to the point where they had the model who was modeling that pair of pants have Rick Owens shoes on. So I'm very, very, very impressed with how bold Minimal has gotten and how blatant that it looks right now. But I mean, hey, if you're gonna take inspiration from something, just make it your own. Change it a little bit. Do something to add your own flavor to it so that you're not directly associated with the original, because then it becomes such a big legal problem, because then there's creative differences that are and aren't there, and it's really all up to interpretation. It's something that could have been completely avoided. Minimal is definitely capable of creating things that are original. I mean, they've been putting out denim and pants for years, and they've been doing what they do, but more often than not, it's taking ideas from other brands. And I can't say that I've ever owned anything from Minimal. I can't say I ever want to own anything from Minimal, honestly. It's simply not what I wear, not my aesthetic. But, I mean, truly, I don't know how a lot of fast fashion brands get away with it. I mean, there are a lot of other fast fashion outlets that make recreations of other things, but they very much change it so that it's not so blatant. I know H&M does it, Forever 21, Zara, ASOS, Boohoo Man, sometimes Top Man. They all take inspiration from things that are popular as far as designer and high-end brands, reinterpret it and make it more accessible to a cheaper audience. I don't know if that's offensive. They make it available to people who aren't able to afford the higher end price points of things. I think it's mind-blowing that Minimal kind of took that formula, really just threw it out the door and was like, you know what, just make it. Just make the exact thing and just throw it out there. But, I mean, hey, I'm not a big fan of wearing fake items. I can't bring myself to wear a fake item. Yes, I have owned multiple fake items in my life. Namely, I had a pair of fake Royal Ones that I actually found at the thrift, and I got it authenticated, and they turned out to be fake, unfortunately. But a couple of times I tried putting them on, tried wearing them in public, and tried going out in them, but it gave me this feeling of I know that they're fake, but nobody else knows knows that they're fake. So it really is just a me problem when it comes to fake items. I'm not a fan. I had to let that pair go. I actually gave it back to Goodwill or Savers or wherever I found it. And it's really just the principle. To me, it's a show of character, and that's just a personal thing. Again, I'm not saying that everybody who wears fake items has bad character or whatever. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I don't get the same satisfaction that I get from wearing something that's legitimate. When I get something that's legitimate, I definitely know it's legitimate. I try everything that I can to authenticate the item, and I make sure that the money that I'm spending is not going to result in me ending up having a fake item. But that kind of is a tangent that is a topic for another video, definitely one that I'm going to talk about. But I'm curious as to what you guys think, what anybody out there wants to share with their thoughts and ideas about this whole Chrome Hearts minimal thing. To be honest, I really had no idea coming into this whole situation. I did not care too much for Chrome Hearts. I mean, I think they're cool. I can't afford it, but I think it's pretty cool. And then there's minimal, which I've seen for, honestly, like probably over a year now, and they've been doing their thing. But increasingly, they've been getting more bold with their replicas of designer items. But again, what do you guys think? Put it in the comments down below. Feel free to subscribe if you feel so inclined. Like the video if you really want to. I appreciate every single person who takes a couple of minutes out of the day to listen to me ramble about something I love. But until the next video, I'll catch you guys later.